Today is the test review for Unit 2. Unit 2 covers Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. This review is 105 problems long, and I'm not going to be able to cover Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 in just 25, 30 questions, so it'll probably be a pretty long test. It won't be 105, but it will probably be a pretty long test. So as soon as you get in to class, I'll probably give you the test right away so you can start working on it right away. Okay. And after you take the test, you know you're going to need to start 4.1 and 4.2. So after you take the test Thursday, just go ahead and start on the homework 4.1 and 4.2. And then if you have any questions on it, you'll be able to ask me. I'm not sure if I'll have time to cover chapter 4.1 and 4.2, I mean the sections. So when you come after you do the test, start working on them, and that way if you have questions, you can ask me while you're here. Okay? Because there may not be a lecture over 4.1 and 4.2. Okay, the first problem says find all the factors of the number. Remember, when you find all the factors of a number, you do 1 in itself, and then if 2 goes into it, you do 2 and what number 2 times it is. On this one, D doesn't even have 1, so you know it's not D. But just know how to do it because it may not be multiple choice, okay? There's a 1 in 42. 2 times what is 42? 2 times 21? Okay. This one doesn't have the 2 in it, so we know that's wrong. This says 2 and 28. So this is your answer. 3 also goes into it. 3 times 14. 4 will not go into it. 5 will not go into it. And 6 is times 7 to get 42. After you list the numbers, make sure that you have all the factors. Make sure you have the 21 and the 14, okay? Make sure you list all of them. 36, you're going to have 1 and 36. 2 will go into it, 2 times 18, right? Yeah. 1 times 36, 2 times 18. 3 times what? 3 times 12. So that's right so far. 4 times what? Not 10. 4
times 9.
4 times 9. And then 5 is times 6. So this one has the extra 10 there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
5 doesn't go into it. No. It goes into 35.
5 won't go into it, huh?
No. It's
Sorry,
6 times
guys.
6.
5 times 9 is not right. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12, 18, and 36.
9 also.
This one, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9. Okay, no, 9 times 4, right? Sorry. 6 times 6, 9 times 4, 3 times 12, 2 times 18. Thank you, Andrea. That's the one right there. Next time would be better off if it didn't have answers, huh? Okay, 8. Multiply by 1, 2, 3, and so on to find the 10 multiples. 10 multiples of 8 are 8, 16. Next one?
24,
24,
32.
32,
40,
40,
48,
48,
56,
56,
64,
64,
72,
72,
and 80.
and 80. Okay? So whichever answer, which must be C on this one. Make sure you list all 10 of them. 17. So 17, this is the right one right here, because it ends in 170, because it's 17 times 10. But this probably won't be multiple choice, so make sure you know how to do it. Times 1, times 2 is 34, times 3 is 51, times 4, 68, times 5,
85,
85, times 6,
102,
times 7,
119,
times 8,
136,
times 9,
153,
and then times 10,
170.
170. Okay? Now, determine whether the number is prime, composite, or neither. 0. Is it prime, composite, or neither?
Neither.
Neither. 19.
Prime.
19 is a prime. 4.
Composite.
4 is 2 times 2, so it's composite. What if it has a number 1? Is that prime, composite, or neither?
Neither.
1 is also a neither. Okay, so 0 or 1 will be neither. Okay, number 8, 39. We need to divide that into the prime factors. 39, you can divide it by 3 is 13, right? So it's 3 times 13. Yeah, C. 126. If you divide that by 2, you get 6, 63. Well, that won't divide by 2. How about 3? You divide it by 3?
Yes.
You could do 7 and 9. Yeah, you could do 7, but don't put a 9 out here. You could put 3 and do 21. You could divide that by 3 or 7, either one.
11.
Yeah. You could have done 7 and 9 and then divided 9 as 3 times 3. You still would have got the right ones. 2, 3, 3, 7. Okay? If it says it has a 14 there, that's not prime. This is not the right answer. Even if it multiplies outright, it has to be all prime numbers. Okay? Okay, determine whether the number is divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. Is 40 divisible by 2? Yes. Is it divisible by 3?
No.
No. None of these had 3 anyway. It's divisible by 2. How about 4?
Yes.
It's divisible by 4. How about 5?
No.
5 times 8, right? 5. 6?
No.
40 will not divide by 6. How about 8?
Yes.
Yeah, 5 times 8. Will it divide by 9?
No.
No. And 10? Yes. So 2, 4, 5, 8, and 10. That would be D. Identify the numerator and the denominator. The numerator is the top, right? Numerator is 7, and the denominator is 29. So that's D. Sorry, wasn't even where you could see it up there. 7 over 29. Numerator, denominator. Okay, what part of the object or set of objects is shaded?
5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. There's 5 of them shaded. So 5, 6 is shaded. If you had 2 objects, like this, and they were divided up like this, and you had 1, 2, 3, 4 of them shaded, how would you do that? Yeah, there's 4 of them shaded, and it's divided into thirds.
Yeah.
You don't say 6 because there's a total of 6. Each one is divided into 3, so the 3 goes on the bottom. So you have a 1, 2, 3, which would be a whole one shaded. If you put this one down here, it would be a whole one shaded and 1/3. Same as 4/3. to review. Okay. What part of the set of objects? Okay, what part of the set? The set has 5 in it.
3 shaded.
So there's 3 shaded out of the 5 total. Okay, on number 14, there are 10 women and 5 men on a committee. What is the ratio of number of women to the number of people on the committee? Not women to men. Okay? So the women and the people. Women is on top, so how many women? 10 women. And how many people were there? 10 plus 5 is 15. Okay, so it didn't even reduce it, that's just 10 over 15. Okay, there are 12 people on a committee, 5 are women. There's your people, total, and 5 are women. What is the ratio of the number of men to the total?
So you subtract 12 from 5, get 7.
Right. You have to subtract to get the men. Because if you have 12 total and 5 are women, the rest must be men. So you have 7 men. So you need 7. You need your men to your total. So your 7 is your men. The total was 12. So 7 to 12. So you're going to have to read these careful to see what the ratio is you have to give. Okay, the next page, simplify. 0 over 12.
Not
I always get
defined.
confused on when the 0 on.
You can have a 0 on top.
Oh, you can do that?
That means like there was 0 out of 12 shaded. There was none shaded out of 12. But you can't have 547 shaded out of none. Okay? You cannot divide by 0. So 0 out of 12 is 0. But you cannot have divided by 0. That's the not defined. Okay? You cannot divide by 0. Multiply. 1/7 times 1/2. Okay? You can just go straight across. 1 times 1, 1. 7 times 2, 14. That can't be reduced. 1 over 14. Number 19, 3 over 5 times 7 over 8. Is there any reducing first? Any canceling? No. 3 times 7, 21. 5 times 8, 40. 21 over 40. Okay, the next one, multiply again. 1/11 times 6/11. 1 times 6, and on the bottom, 11 times 11. Don't leave it just 11, okay? 6 over 121. No reducing, or you could have reduced it here. Okay, 2 times 1/3, put 2 as 2 over 1. 2 over 1 times 1/3. You have the top times top, 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 3, 3. So 2/3. 22, 2/7 times 41, so put 41 over 1. You can't do any dividing because 7 will go into 42, but it won't go into 41. So 2 times 41 is 82. 7 times 1, 7. Okay, if it's multiple choice, there it is. It's not making you reduce them yet. Okay, a rectangular sheet of paper measures 1/3 by 2/7. What is the area? How do you find area of a rectangle? Multiply length times width.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, this is your length, this is your width. The area is length times width. And it doesn't matter if you put them in the other order. You can say 1/3 times 2/7 or 2/7 times 1/3. It's not going to matter. Still 2 times 1 is 2. 7 times 3,
21.
21. And these were feet. 2/7 feet. This was feet. So you have feet times feet is square feet. Okay? So if it's not multiple choice, don't forget to put your units. Multiple choice, it gives it to you, but I'm taking a lot of the multiple choice out. Okay, find another name for the given number, but with the denominator indicated. So 1/7, it wants you to give a fraction with the denominator of 14. So the bottom, you multiply it by 2, so multiply the top times 2. So this is another fraction with the denominator of 14. So it's 2/14. Don't reduce it because you go back to here. It wants you to leave the 14. Simplify. 35 over 7.
5.
If you divide, it's just 5. 5 over 1 or 5. Okay. 48 over 54. You need to simplify. Reduce it. What will 48 and 54 both divide by? 2. By what? 4? Let's do 4. 4 into 48 is 12. You'll probably divide by 12, huh? 4 into 54 won't divide by 4, will it?
No,
I messed up.
If you do 6,
Let's do 6.
because 6 goes into 48 8
Yeah.
times, and then 6 goes into 54 9 times. So take
Yeah, that'll work. 48 divided by 6 is 8. 54 divided by 6 is 9. 8 ninths. So that's as far as you can go. And this says to use equal, not equal. Use one or the other, the equal or the not equal for the blank to write a true sentence. Okay, you've got 4/6 and you have 8/12. You can either reduce both of them, and if they both reduce to the same thing, like this one, dividing by 2 gives you 2/3. This one, dividing by 4, gives you 2/3. You can do that way to get equal, or you can multiply up like this. 6 times 8 is 48. 4 times 12 is 48. Either show this or show that you reduced them and put your answer equal. All that you have to have over here, like for your answer is equal, but I want you to still show work, okay? Show what you did. Okay, 8/10 is 79 100ths.
Not equal.
They're not, because if you multiply this times 10, you add a 0, that's not equal. Okay, circle graph, number 29. How did a family spend a total of 20,000 miles driving to different locations for various purposes over the course of a year? Simplify the fraction representing the number of shopping miles driven. So where's the shopping miles? The shopping's right there, right?
24 over 2400.
Okay, don't just give this. It said to simplify the fraction that represents shopping, right? So you need to put the 2400 over 20,000 and then reduce that. Dividing by 10 drops a 0, another 10 drops another 0. That gives you 24 over 200. You could still reduce that. Divide by 2, it's 12 over 100. You still reduce. Let's divide by 4 this time. A little faster than 2. There'll be 3 on top. 100 divided by 4 is 25. Okay, so this reduces to 3 over 25. Okay, number 30. Multiplying still. 5 6 times 1/5. You can actually simplify it this time now. So go straight across. 5 times 1 is 5. 6 times 5 is 30. And then simplify. You'll have to divide by 5 here. 1/6. Or you could divide by 5 here before you multiply. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Then you have 1 times 1 is 1. And then 6 times 1 is 6. Okay, number 31. 6 eighths times 1 eighth. Yeah, do not divide side by side though. It has to be a top and a bottom. The 6 and the 8 will both divide by what?
2.
6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now we have 3 times 1 on top, 8 times 4 on bottom. It's 32. So 3 over 32. Okay, 7 twelfths plus 6 twelfths.
You can divide it by 2
By 6?
or by 6.
Yeah, let's divide by 6. We could do the top and the bottom or the top and the side. As long as it's one of these bottom ones. They could be on the same fraction, okay? You could do 1 here and 2 here. Okay, 7 times 1 is 7. 12 times 2, 24. And that's as far as you can go. 7 over 24. Okay, 8/15 times 15 over 8. Divide by 15. Those turn into 1. Divide by 8. These turn into 1. So you got 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. That simplifies to just 1. 11 times 1 over 11. That's going to be what?
1.
1 again. 11 over 11, or you could cancel first. 1 again. 13 times 3 over 8. 13 over 1 times 3 over 8. No reducing there. So we got 13 times 3, 39. 1 times 8, 39 over 8. That's not very simplified, but it doesn't have the mixed number. So you know now you don't have to turn it to mixed right here, right? Okay, 3/5 times 250. What can we do with that first?
Divide.
Divide by 5?
Yes.
Divide by 5 is 1. Divide by 5 is 50. Because 5 goes into 25 and then a 0. Okay, 3 times 50 is
150.
150. So that's 150. Okay, solve the word problem. There are 70 students in Jose's class. 1/5 of the students are science majors. How many are science majors? Make sure it says are or are not, okay? It says how many are science majors. So out of 70, 1/5 of them are. So what are we going to do with the 70 and the 1/5?
Multiply.
You're going to multiply it times 1/5, which actually you'll divide it by 5, but you do this times 1/5. 70 times 1, 1 times 5. So you actually are doing 70 divided by 5. 70 divided by 5, bless you. 1 and then 4, 14. So 14 students are science majors. Okay, the next one. Find the reciprocal. Keep the, on the reciprocals, keep the sign. You don't have negatives, do you? Okay, so you just have to flip it over. So it's just 5/9 is just 9/5. 5/9 is 9/5. 18 is the same as 18/1. So the reciprocal is not 18/1. The reciprocal is 1/18. Okay? The reason you need reciprocals is for division. You're going to multiply by the reciprocal. You leave the 1/2. Here we have 1/2 divided by 5/8. So 1/2, we're going to change divide into multiply, and we're going to do the reciprocal, 8/5. Before we multiply, divide by 2. 4/5. So that one's 8. Okay, 1/3 divided by 2. 1/3 divided by 2. Okay, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal, but you need a 1 under there. You have 1/3 times the reciprocal. 1/2. 1/3 times 1/2?
1/6.
1/6. Okay, 42. 21/5 divided by 3. Dividing by 3, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Multiply by 1/3. Okay? Divide first. Divide by 3, divide by 3. 7 times 1 is 7. 5 times 1 is 5. So it's 7/5. That's D right there. Okay, solve and simplify. 6/7 times something is 66. Okay. We want to turn this into just T. We have 6/7 times T is 66. We want T is something. Okay, so to get rid of this so that we have 1T, to multiply this by the reciprocal, we'll get 1, right? If we do it here, we have to do it to the other side, 7/6. Okay? Divide first, divide by 6, 1 and 11. 11 times 7 is 77. So T is 77, which is D. Okay, same kind of problem right here. We have 5/4 times y equals 15/4. What are we going to do?
Divide.
Yeah. Multiply by the reciprocal or divide by 5/4, same thing. Multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. There's 20/20 is 1, so we have y. What are we going to do with this? Divide by 4s and 5s, right? Divide by 4 is 1, divide by 4 is 1. Divide by 5 is 1, divide by 5 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3, over 1 is just 3. So that one is just 3. Okay, 45 says, a box of cereal contains 12 cups. Serving size is 3/4 of a cup. How many servings are in the box of cereal? You need to know whether you're going to multiply or divide by the 3/4. Okay, if you use whole numbers, you can figure it out what you got to do with this number first. What if you had 12 cups of cereal and its serving size was 2 cups? If you had 12 cups of cereal and each serving you need 2 cups of it. You'd have 6 servings, right? You divided the 2 into the 12. You did 12 divided by 2. So you're going to do the serving size will be divided into how much you had. So do it without a fraction to figure out whether you're going to be multiplying or dividing, okay? That's the easiest way to figure out what to do with it. This turns into 12 over 1 multiplied by the reciprocal times 4/3. Okay? Divide by 3. Divide by 3. So 4 times 4 is 16. Which makes sense, you would have more servings than 12 because if you did 1 cup servings, you'd have 12 servings. But this is less than a cup, so that does make sense that there's 16 servings. Find the least common multiple of the set of numbers, 2 and 8. Okay? 2 is just 2, 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. 4 times 2. Okay? If you have big numbers, this makes it easier. This one you could have probably done in your head. You need the most amount of 2's, which is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Okay, so that one's 8. Let's see if we have one that's a little harder now. 16 and 20. That one's a little harder to do in your head. Okay, 16, if you divide it up, that's 4 times 4, right? 16 is 2 times, there's 4 times 4. So, I'm sorry, 16 and 20. 16 is 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4. So that's your prime factorization, 16. Your 20 would be, let's do it on the side. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So it's 2, 2, 5. 2 times 2 times 5. Your least common multiple, you need the most. So how many 2's do you need? There's 4 and there's 2.
6.
You need 4 of them. The most, you don't need all of them. The most is 4. And then the 5, you need the 5 there. See, 16 goes into it. And here is your 20, 2, 2, 5. They will both go into it. Okay, so we have 16 times 5 is what our least common multiple is. 16 times 5 is, that's 30, 5, 6, 7, 8. So both of these numbers will go into 80. And if that's not multiple choice, you'll need to know how to come up with the smallest one. And you can list them if you want. You can go 16, 32, and keep listing them like we did multiples. Do 20, 40, 60, 80. You keep listing them until you come up with the smallest one. If you don't want to do the primes, do it where you list them and find the smallest one. Okay, 2, 5, and 11. Those are all primes already. You're going to have to actually multiply all 3 of them. Because 2 is 2, 5 is just a 5, and 11 is just 11. Most 2's, the most 5's, and the most 11's. So you got 10 times 11 is 110. National Computer Show. At a national computer show, 2 software companies continuously run videos showing their products. One repeats every 21 minutes, the other one repeats every 15 minutes. If both companies begin the videos at 1 when the show opens, how many minutes will elapse before they're in sync again? You need the least common multiple of these numbers, of the 21 and 15. So do 21 and do 15. 15 is 3 times 5. 21 is 3 times 7, right? on the multiple. And you need a 5, and you need a 7. You don't need 2 3s. 15, and here's your 21. See, they both divide into that. So you got 35 times 3, or you can multiply 15 times 7. And 105 minutes until they're in sync the first time. Every 105 minutes they'll be in sync. Okay, add and simplify. 1/6 plus 5/6. 6/6. They already have the common denominator. So 6/6, and it says simplify. So make sure you turn that into 1. Don't just leave it 6/6. Turn it into 1. 1/8 plus 5/8. That's a common denominator already. 6/8, which is
3/4.
divided by 2 is 3/4. 3/4 right there. Okay, now we have 3/4 plus 1/20. What do we need first?
Common denominator.
Which is
20.
20. Okay, this is already 20, so the top's still 1. 4 times what? 20? Times 5, right?
Yep.
On the top and bottom makes 15 over 20. So you got 15 20ths plus 1/20 is 16 20ths. And you could reduce that by dividing by what?
4.
Divide by 4 is 4 over 5. As far as you go. 4 over 5. If you're just doing it, you put 16 over 20, you just get half credit, okay? You don't simplify. Okay, 9/10 plus 29 over 100. What do you need?
Common denominator.
Okay, which is
100.
100. Okay, this is already 100, so it stays the same. This, we multiply it times 10, or we added a 0. So we have to add a 0 to the top, which makes it 90. So now you have 90 100ths plus 29 100ths. 9, put 90 here, 9 and 9 and 11. 119 over 100. Okay. This doesn't have it turned into a mixed number. It can't be reduced as far as dividing by the same number. Okay, 8/3 plus 0/2. 8 over 3 plus 0 over 2. Do we need a common denominator?
Yes.
Okay, you're adding 0 to 8/3 though. This is the same as just saying 0. So you could just say this is 8/3 plus 0, which is just 8/3. You don't have to actually get the common denominator. If you add 0 to something, it just stays itself. Okay, 55 has 8/15 plus 3/15 plus 3/15. We have a common denominator, so just write it down, then add 8 plus 3 is 11, plus 3 is 14. So you have 14/15. Okay? Don't add the bottom. Keep that common denominator. Okay, number 50. You already have, no, you don't have a common denominator. 2/10 plus 4 over 100 plus 6 over 1,000. So what's our common denominator?
1,000.
1,000. Okay, 6 over 1,000 stays the same. 100, you added 1 0, so you have to add a 0 to the top. So you put a 0 there. So you added a 0 here, a 0 there. Now 10, you added 2 zeros, right? You multiply it by 100. You added 2 zeros, so you got to add 2 zeros to the top. That makes that 200. So if you add it up, 200 plus 40 plus 6,
246.
246. Okay, that should reduce, right? They're both even. So if we divide by 2, we have, dividing by 2, we have 500 on bottom. And on top we have 123. 3, 4, 5, 6. That would divide by 3, but the bottom will not divide by 3. Bottom divides by 2, but the top won't. Bottom divides by 5, but the top won't. I think we're done. And keep trying and trying, but this one you had divided by 2, but this wasn't the same. So that's as far as you can go on that. Okay, 4, 14, and 15 is our denominators. We need a common denominator. 4 is 2 times 2, 14 is 2 times 7, and 15 is 3 times 5. Okay, our common denominator has to have all those factors. We need, how many 2's? There's 2 and 1. There's 2 and 1. You only need 2 of them. You don't need all 3 of them. Okay, and then 1 3 and a 5 and a 7.
How come you only need 2?
Because 4 will go into it here. And 2 times 7, you could reuse this 2, and 14 will still go into it. You don't need all of them because you need to just make sure you have enough.
But doesn't it have to be in the 15 as well? In order for you just to bring down the 2, it has to be in all 3 numbers?
Now, greatest common factor is when they're in all 3 numbers. The least common multiple for common denominators, you want to make sure you put every factor the most amount of times that it shows up. Okay? This will be the smallest number. You could have put another 2, that you would have just had more dividing to do at the end.
Oh.
You could have done that for a common denominator. Okay, this would be, if you multiply all those out, let me see, you got 10
420.
times 6 times 7. 42 times 10 is 420. So 420 is our least common multiple. If you would have did it times 2 again, you would have had 840. It would have just been a little more multiplying. But right now, 420, that's our smallest common denominator. So we're going to put 420 for all 3 denominators. Okay, the 4, what did we multiply 4 times? We multiplied it by 35 times 3 to get 420. Does everybody see that? This times 4. 35 times 3 times 4 would be that. So what's 35 times 3 is 105. So we did the bottom times 105, so we got to do the top times 105. Okay? See, 105 times 4, so you get 420. It was multiplied by 105. 14, what did we multiply? If you take the prime factorization here, 2, 2, 3, 5, 7. 14 was multiplied by this, which is 15 times 2 or 10 times 3, which is 30. 30 times 14. So if we multiplied this bottom times 30, then we do the top times 30. We we have 3 times 30 is 90. Okay, 15. Let's see what we multiplied 15 by to get 420. 2, 2, 3, 5, 7. Here's our 15. We multiplied it times 7 times 4 is 28. If you do 28 times 15, you'll have 420. So 15 times 28 is 420, so 1 times 28 is 28. Now we have a common denominator of 420. It's a long one, huh? Yeah. Okay, so 420 is the bottom. Add all the tops. 105 plus 90 plus 28. 223 over 420. 223. Okay? If you want to go back to that one and you're doing your test and you don't want to get stuck on that one, just save it till last. If you think it's going to like get you frustrated or something, just say, oh, that's the one that's going to be hard, and go back to it. Don't forget to go over your test to make sure you did the ones that you were wanting to go back to, though. Okay. Lori bought 1/4 of a pound of basil, 1/5 of a pound of oregano. How many pounds of herbs did she buy total? She bought this and she bought that, so you're going to add them, right? She bought 1/4 of a pound and 1/5 of a pound. Okay, so 1/4 plus 1/5, you need a common denominator again. 4 is times 5, so 1 is times 5. 5 was times 4, so 1 is times 4. So 5 plus 4 is 9. 20. So she bought 9/20 of a pound total of herbs. 9/20 of a pound. Okay, now we're subtracting. We still have to get common denominators, right? This one already has one. 5/8 minus 4/8.
1/8.
5 minus 4 is 1. 1/8. 11/12 minus 1/12. 11 minus 1.
10/12.
10/12. And simplify. See, it says simplify. Divide by what?
2.
You divide by 2, you have 5/6. Okay, now we don't have a common denominator. 1/7 minus 1/12. Okay, 7 is just, it can't break down. Do 7 times 12 and you'll get a common denominator. 7 times 12, that's 14, 7, 1 is 8. 84 is your common denominator. Okay, 7 was times 12, and the 12 was times 7. Okay, 7 was times 12. So this one you're doing 1 times 12 is 12. 12 was times 7, so 1 times 7 is 7. 12 minus 7, 5, and you leave the 84 on bottom. And that won't reduce. The bottom won't divide by 5. So you have 5/84. Okay, 3/8 minus 1/12. What is your common denominator?
96.
48.
How about 24?
Oh,
You could multiply them and get 96. You could do 48, or the lowest one would actually be 24. That's 12 times 2, right? And that's 8 times what?
3.
8 times 3 is 24. This is why you need to make sure you know your multiplications, okay? That way you could look at them and kind of figure out what the common denominator is going to be. Subtract 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 2 is 2. So you got 9 minus 2. 9 minus 2 is 7 24. Is that reduced? No. 7 24. Okay, number 63. You're going to put a greater or less than sign. Remember, it gobbles up the big one? Okay, 1/5 and 1/3. Okay, if you don't know which one's bigger, multiply across. 3 times 1 is 3. 5 times 1 is 5. 3 is smaller than 5, right? If you ate 1/5 of a pizza, you're eating less than if you ate 1/3 of a pizza. Okay? So that's just the less than. Okay, 3 8 and 4 11. 11 times 3, 33. 8 times 4, 32. Okay? So it's greater. Barely greater, they're almost the same. Oops, what did I hit? I don't know what I hit, but I'm going to have to fix it. Okay, it's coming back, I think. Yeah, there it is. Okay, 65. 58 plus x. I'm really getting tired. Wonder if we could take a break. Yeah, huh? Let's take a break.